Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now this time I'm going to rank the albums of the Stranglers, but only from 1977 to 1990, the years in which Hugh Cornwell was a band member. I do have some of the other albums on CD, but to be honest I haven't really ever played them. I've given them a quick flick through whenever I bought them cheap, but to me the Stranglers were always Hugh Cornwell, J.J. Burnell, Jet Black and Dave Greenfield. Unfortunately we lost Dave Greenfield a couple of years ago. Now I did see them live in 2019 without Hugh Cornwell of course, and they were absolutely brilliant. And their last album, Dark Matters, is really good. So going through all these first 10 albums with Hugh Cornwell in the band, I really enjoyed it. I did it the normal way, put them all in a playlist and played Stranglers non-stop for a week going to and from work, and I probably will start listening to the other ones to see what they're like again, because I know some of them are actually quite good. So 10 albums from 77 to 1990. I will say I do like every single album, although some of the albums do have some flaws, but I will mention them when I come to them. So coming in at number 10, and my least favourite, and it's the aptly titled 10 from 1990. This is the one where you've got all the Stranglers dressed as various world leaders. JJ is Margaret Thatcher, and it looks like Dave Greenfield I think is Gorbachev. And I used to think that Hugh Cornwell was Ronald Reagan, but if it's 1990 he must actually be George Bush. But this is the one with the single 96 Tears, the cover of Question Mark and the Mysterians hit, which I think is really good. The problem with this album is it's the production. The production is so thin and it's so weak and it's very tinny, and it actually does spoil the album. The producer is actually Roy Thomas Baker, who produced Queen, which is quite surprising that the production is actually so bad. But there are some really good songs off this, like Sweet Smell of Success I think is a very good single. It's a quite funky number and it's a little bit more different for the Stranglers. In This Place is really moody and it is brilliant, a fantastic song, spoiled a little bit by the production. Man of the Earth, which has got a jingly jangly, almost REM in the 1980s sound to it, but I think it's really good, and I think they were actually considering that as a third single. So yeah, not some other decent songs like Out of My Mind and Where I Live, but it's not their best, but I still do enjoy it. So 10 from 1990 gets my number 10. At number 9, and it's actually the one before it from 1986, and it's Dreamtime. And yeah, this has actually got 4 singles off it. The very good Always the Sun and Nice and Nice, the slightly cluttered Big in America, which is not too bad, and Shaking Like a Leaf, which I don't really like at all, but there's some very good songs in this as well. Dreamtime's good. You'll Always Reap What You Sow is almost like a big ballad, which is pretty good, and Ghost Train is actually very good. There was going to be a 5th single, Was It Due, which I'm glad they didn't release because it's a mess. It's not that great, but overall this is slightly better than 10, so Dreamtime is number 9 from 1986. Now my number 8, now these top 8 are really difficult to rank, but I'm going to do it this way because this is just listening pleasure over the past week. My number 8 is No More Heroes from 1977, and this is a really good album. It starts off with I Feel Like a W, I can't say the word because it's really politically incorrect, which is a good song. Bitchin' is brilliant, and they played that live whenever I saw them in 2019. Dead Ringer is almost a dead ringer for Peaches. It's got a very similar bass line, but you have the 2 big singles, Something Better Change and No More Heroes. Peasant in the Big Shitty sounds like something out of the Rocky Horror Show, which is, it's okay, it's not bad. Bring On the New Buzz, I think it's alright, it's not great. You can see it would work well in concert, but I do like things like English Towns, and even Schoolma'am is a very good album, but enjoyment level, it only got my number 8 whenever I was playing the last week. Dagon and Dave's another good song, and what's the other one? Burning Up Time is probably the weakest on the whole set, so No More Heroes, number 8. Number 7, it's their poppiest album, and it's from 1984, and it's Oral Sculpture, and there's 3 singles off this: Skin Deep, No Mercy, and Let Me Down Easy. As I say, it's very, very commercial, very easy on the ear, very easy to get into. Ice Queen's a great opener, bit of a funky track, and then just out of the blue comes a horn section which you're not expecting, and it works really, really well. North Winds is probably my favourite track off this, the last one on side 1. Side 2 is not quite as good. You have Uptown and Punch and Judy, which is okay. Spain's alright, Laughing's a good song. Souls and Mad Hatter are fine. It is a catchy album, but again, I enjoyed it. I enjoy side 1 more than side 2, and this just edged No More Heroes. It was either this or No More Heroes for number 7, and I just gave it to this. Okay, number 6 is the one that you either love it or you hate it. You have to be in the mood for this, and it's The Gospel According to the Men in Black. This is a weird album. It's all about aliens coming to Earth and so forth, and the tunes are not that accessible, but this gets under your skin, it really does, and I love this, but I have to be in the mood for it. It opens with one of my favourite all-time Stranglers songs, and it's actually an instrumental, Waltz in Black. There's another instrumental called Turn the Century's Turn, which is really, really good. The 2 singles are good. Thrown Away, which is actually very catchy, but the other one is Just Like Nothing on Earth, which is just like nothing on earth. You've never heard anything like it before. There's almost chipmunks in it, and the way he says the word earth is almost spewing it out, but it's really, really good. A couple other great songs are Hello to Our Men. Now this one, there's an instrumental part on it which just reminds me of Genesis, circa Wind and Wuthering or Trick of the Tail, but it's really, really good, and Four Horsemen is a very good song as well. But I would never ever suggest you start with this album. If you're doing the Hugh Cornwell years, make sure this is about the 6th or 7th one you get, because it will put you off. I hated this at the start, but now I think it's really, really good. I guess my number 6. Number 5, and I thought this one would actually be higher, and it's Black and White from 1978. By the way, Gospel According to Men in Black was from 1981. This is the one with the great single Nice and Sleazy on it, and it starts off with the brilliant Tank going into Nice and Sleazy, 2 brilliant songs. Then you get Outside Tokyo, which is almost like a waltzy type number. You get the frenetic Sweden, which goes at 100 miles an hour, slows down, and then goes back to 100 miles an hour again, which is very good. And then the fantastic Toiler of the Sea with Dave Greenfield steals the show in that. Side 2 is not quite as good, although there are some really good songs like Threatened and In the Shadows, but there's some rubbish on it as well, like Do You Wanna, which is just a poor song. But it's a very good album, and from 1978 it's their 3rd album, and it gets my number 5. And number 4, and from 1979, it's The Raven, and this I think is a step forward for them, and there's a song on here which shows the way to the next album, The Gospel According to the Men in Black, and it's simply called Men in Black, and it is weird. And Genetics as well, the last song on this is weird as well, but I love the 2 of them. Long Ships opens this, which is a mini instrumental, which is very good, and then probably the best song on the album is The Raven itself. The singles off this were Duchess, brilliant Stranglers single, up there, top 5 definitely. Don't Bring Harry, which they performed on Top of the Pops, and I don't think they realised that Harry was actually heroin. I think they thought it was Harry Carpenter or something like that. And Nuclear Device, which is probably the catchiest of the 3 of them, but didn't do that well. Other great songs like Dead Los Angeles and Barack Modello and Sha Sha Go Go. It's a very, very good album, and it gets my number 4. Number 3 from 1981, and their 2nd album from 81 is La Folly, and this was mixed by Tony Visconti, and I think they said to him, make every song sound as if it could be a single. And this is another one of those very accessible ones. It starts off with extremely catchy Non-Stop, which was originally to be called Non-Stop None, but it's very good. There's 3 singles off this. The first one was Let Me Introduce You to the Family, great wee frenetic number, and then you had the big hit of Golden Brown in 1982, and then the third single was the beautiful, very atmospheric, Parisian, dark La Folly, which is gorgeous. But other really good songs, for example, How to Find True Love and Happiness in the Present Day. It's really got a fantastic instrumentation to it. It Only Takes Two to Tango, catchy. Pin Up is catchy. The Man They Love to Hate is a really good song as well. Excellent, very accessible album, and it gets my number 3. My number 2, and a bit of a surprise possibly, and it's from 1983, and it's Feline. There's only 9 tracks off this, 3 singles. The first one was The European Female, which is great. Then they took Midnight Summer Dream and they radically remixed it for a single release. It had to be done, and the single release is brilliant as well. And the third one is Paradise, which is very good too. The reason I love this is the sound of it. I look at this as the Stranglers' Avalon. I think the sound is absolutely beautiful. Some of the songs maybe aren't quite as strong as on the previous album, but all together as one piece of work, I think it's really, really good. It's a Small World, I think, is fantastic. Ships That Pass in the Night, I think, is great as well. Let's Tango in Paris and Blue Sister are also really strong songs. Maybe not quite as accessible as La Folie, but the listening pleasure I get from this is immense, and I love it, and it's my number 2, Feline from 1983. And the best Stranglers album for me, and from 1977, it's their debut, and it's Rattlesnake Vegas. This is the one with Peaches on it and Get a Grip on Yourself, fantastic singles. My all-time favourite Strangler song is on this, Goodbye Toulouse. It opens with Sometimes, which is brilliant. London Lady is a great little punk number. Princess of the Street is a bluesy number, which normally I wouldn't like, but I love it. And then Hanging Around is just an absolute classic Stranglers track. The weakest track off this is Ugly, which is quite good, and then you get the magnificent Down in the Sewer, which is an epic, an absolutely brilliant album, and it's my favourite punk album of all time. So Rattlesnake Vegas is my number 1 Stranglers album, or debut album. So that's my ranking of the 10 albums. If you're looking for a Stranglers comp of the Hugh Cornwell years, this is the best one to get, and this is Peaches, the very best of. And I'll just read out the actual track listing. So you have Peaches, Golden Brown, Walk On By, No More Heroes and Skin Deep, side 1. Side 2, Hanging Around, All Day and All the Night, Straighten Out, Nice and Sleazy, Strange Little Girl, and Who Wants the World. Side 3, Something Better Change, Always the Sun, Unfortunately It's the Sunny Side Up remix. European Female, Get a Grip, unfortunately it's an 89 remix. I don't know why they put these remixes on. And Duchess. And then side 4 is 5 Minutes, Don't Bring Harry, La Folie, and 96 Tears. An absolutely brilliant double album. Okay, that's my Stranglers top 10. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.